Hey, what's up, people? So a few months ago, I was browsing the eBay, as one does, and I was specifically looking for a set of paddle controllers for Atari 2600, and I came across various listings, but then one caught my attention. It was a set of the paddle controllers and also a 2600 Lite Sixer, and it was sold, everything was sold as untested, but after giving the controllers a good cleaning, and cleaning the switches and everything, they work perfectly. So I'm pretty happy about these. And the 2600 itself, I have not tested yet, and I haven't tried applying power or anything. So it's just been sitting there waiting for me to get around to actually testing it out. So we're going to try to do that live today. I mean, pre-recorded, but we're going to try to see if it works. There is a chunk missing from the edge. There is a chunk missing from the controller on the left controller port. Other than that, there isn't very much physical damage to it. If we look at the bottom, we are missing one screw. And looks like that's the only one that's missing. Yeah, looks like something has gotten on it. But other than that, it looks to be in fairly decent shape. So we'll see if it will power right up, or if it will require additional care, but I guess there's only one way to find out. So I'm going to rig up a way to power it, because I do not have a dedicated power supply for these things. And also I've been kind of experimenting with and setting up a way to capture like RF video and audio directly from the devices that produce like a channel 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. And I think I've got a pretty good setup for that. So we're actually going to plug this straight into a splitter. That's going to both my little 9-inch Sony TV that I got off to the side, and the other side also goes to my capture card. And we're going to... there it is. I had misplaced it. But I thought I had a different connector that I could use for this, but I can't seem to find it. So we're going to do it this way. I'm just going to clip these leads to this connector. I'm going to plug this into the back of the Atari. And then the other end is, the end jacks are going to go to my power supply. So this isn't exactly what I wanted to do, but it's what I'm going to have to do for the time being. So there we go. That should be fine. I don't have this plugged into the power supply just yet. So got to get them kind of loose. There we go. All right. So this is in the off position. Now with paddle controllers, I'm specifically looking for them because I had the Kaboom cartridge, and you can't really play this with a joystick. So let's plug in paddle controllers. Okay, I think we're all ready to go. Stick the cartridge in the slot, and let me bring up the capture for that. All right, so here we go. Plug in and plug in the power supply, and I'm hitting power. There we go. I didn't have the connector plugged in all the way because it doesn't quite fit right, so I had to push it in really far in. It seems a little jumpy there, like it's not. Let's see if the game starts. I don't know which one's one. It's not that one. It's not, well, okay. Wait. Oh, it is this one. It just wasn't in the right position. There we go. So that's working. Let me see. I'm going to turn on the TV though, because there's a little bit of a delay capturing video through the capture card, and it's enough to make a difference in some games, especially games where you have really fast motion. And I don't think the colors look quite right, so I think that may need some adjustment. Let's see. But this seems to be working okay. One thing I noticed about this game is that on the 2600 Plus, there seems to be a bit of a latency between the time that you move the paddle controller and when you actually get a response on the screen. So I think as far as this game goes, it's better to have some sort of a device that you can actually see it, not through the HDMI port, or I don't know, just in general, the 2600 for some reason doesn't seem to play well with this game. It's the type of game that's best played on the original hardware is what I'm trying to say. And I was just kind of like losing my train of thought because my wife had just come home from work and I knew that she was going to want to talk to me. So I was having trouble getting my thoughts out. But that's what I meant to say, that, yeah, it's the fast reflexes required for it, for some reason, just doesn't seem to play well on the 2600 plus. Well, we see that it works. So it looks like it's just going to need maybe a bit of adjustment for the colors. Let's open it up and just kind of take a general look at the insides of it and see what condition everything's in. But, I mean, other than that, it doesn't really seem like it's going to need a lot of help or anything. Okay, so I've removed the 5 screws that were in place. These two, I'm not sure if I have to remove just yet. I don't know if they hold the top of the case on. I'll find out. I've never actually owned a light sixer, or even a heavy sixer for that matter, so I'm not too familiar with these. I'm only familiar with the 4-switch units. And it looks like it is coming apart. Okay, yeah, so the top side is coming off. There we go. So that's what that looks like. And I'm guessing at some point maybe there was a thought to design maybe speakers into these units, because it does have like these 2 grills, but I mean there's no speaker inside. So I'm not too familiar with that either. But there we go. It's a little dusty. Nothing looks crazy inside. We got something dangling off this wire. That's the cable going to the outside. Let's see, a coax cable. Looks like a wood shaving tangled in some spider web. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, so those 2 screws looks like they're going to have to come off in order to remove this big metal shielding. All right, so with those 2 screws removed, like the rest of the unit should be able to come out. Yeah, and I want to unplug this. There we go. All right. Just some debris and junk. Looks like we got a few carpet beetle casings inside. That can all be cleaned out. It's going to be hard for me to tip this over, but we got more stuff dangling off the bottom. And it's all being held in by just a few little strands of spider web. Right, so we can disconnect this top connector. That will release the top switchboard. Got 2 screws that hold it down to this. I don't know if it's just aluminum casing. It's got a July 16th, 1979. So as far as this top board goes, the switchboard, everything looks pretty good. I don't know how good these capacitors are anymore. If anything, maybe that would be worth replacing. And on the main unit itself, we got 6 screws holding the bottom of this case in place. So let's remove those. Oh, this definitely looks like it's been opened before. This screw is like nowhere near bottomed out. So kind of curious to see what's inside of this now. See what's been done to it. Maybe there's been some work done before. That could be why there was a screw missing on the bottom of the unit. Yeah, these screws are all loose. I have not touched these 2 yet. And this casing is totally loose. All right, let's get a closer view on that. See if we can find out what somebody's done inside, if anything. Or maybe somebody was just curious like me and wanted to see what was inside and they opened it up. Oh, look at that. That looks like it's been reworked. That definitely does not look original. Looks like they went a little skimpy on the solder on that pin. Everything else looks okay. Not the greatest. But let's see what chip that is. So I've got to remove 2 more screws. I'm going to take a quick little guess. But that may be, there's one IC that was used for the color. And if that IC wasn't working correctly, I think you would only get like black and white video. It's some stuff I've read. We'll see if that's what that is. I think it's like a CD4050 or something like that. I don't remember the exact number. We'll find out. Could be totally speaking out of my butt, but let's see. So that is a... Holy crap, I was right. It's a CD 4050. So that's definitely been replaced at some point. There is the color adjustment pot. So I may need to lubricate that and adjust it so that the colors don't look so bad. I was noticing that they were kind of like coming in and out. So it could be due to that, or maybe it could have something to do with this chip as well. Seeing how it's been replaced before, I guess that would be a possibility. Now, the bottom didn't look too bad, but the top side, it looks a little hideous. So, I mean, it's good that they replaced it. It just doesn't look great. So, okay, we see that we've got an potential issue. I don't see anything else on the board that looks problematic. There's one electrolytic. Like I said, those may be worth replacing at this point, especially since this unit is, see, 79. So we would have 89, 99, 2009, 2019, plus another 5 years. So that's it's like a 45-year-old console at this point. Going to be hitting that 50 soon. Well, I think what I can do is just so we can see if we can adjust the colors. I can hook up the switchboard back onto it, and I'll connect everything back up as I had it when I was just testing it. And we can lubricate this pot with some contact cleaner, and then I'll, just kind of work it around to see if we can get a better signal out of that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. In order to get a good baseline for what the colors should be, I've already got the Kaboom cartridge loaded onto my Atari 2600 Plus, which is connected through USB to my capture device. So if I hit the game reset there, just so we make sure that we're at the right spot. If I turn that on, we can see that the playfield has a very green color. The up at the top where the little character is, that's a gray. And then the score is yellow. So I'm going to remove the cartridge from this console. I'm going to stick it into the Sixer. And when we turn this on, we're going to try to match those colors. Unfortunately, I don't have two cartridges. Otherwise, I could do like a side-by-side comparison. But I'm going to have to remove the cartridge from this console and stick it into the light Sixer. And then when we turn this on, let me capture the... There we go. Oh, the colors are kind of there already. But that's kind of weird. Let's see. The reset switch. It was kind of reddish looking when we first started, so I'm wondering if just me kind of jostling it around kind of made it the colors. I don't know. Anyways, well, let's turn off the HDMI capture. So I bought myself a new can of Deoxit D5. I'm going to spray a little bit of this stuff on the potentiometer, just so it lubricates the phenolic board in there a bit. Let's get a screwdriver. I don't really want to get my fingers all lubricated. So I'm just going to turn this back and forth a few times. It's going to cycle through the colors, as you can see. Make sure we spread that lubricant all around. All right, let's try to get the colors back where they should be. So the play field was a greenish color. We had yellow, kind of a bright green, like around there. I think that's about where we should be. We've got the gray. Just going to go past this spot a few times. Let's go back. Okay, so I think around there, and then the Activision is like a bluish color. Let's see, I'll try to get it as bright as I can, right about there. I think I'll leave it at that spot. So, well, that looks pretty good. The cool thing about the 2600 Plus is that you can just stick the cartridge in while it's still on and it'll reload the game. So I think that's about as close as we're going to be able to get that. Yeah, the yellow on the score, it looks a little, I would say a little bit darker than it looks on the 2600 Plus, but yeah, that's probably as good as we're going to be able to get that. And if I tap around on this 4050, it doesn't look like anything is changing. If I tap around on the board, no, it doesn't look like anything changes. So I think it was just this spot was maybe slightly off, maybe not making very good contact, but it seems to be fine now. And now that I put contact cleaner in it, I think it's going to be totally fine. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, this seems to be working pretty well, so I think we're just going to leave it there. I don't see any reason why we need to go any deeper into it. Like I said, maybe if anything, maybe just replacing those electrolytics. But unfortunately, I do not have any of those on hand, so I will have to order some of those if I want to replace them. But it seems to be working fine otherwise, and the only real or other thing I could probably do to this is maybe just modify it with a composite output, or a composite video and like a dedicated audio output. But other than that, it seems to be totally fine, and it's playing this game pretty well. So I think I'm just going to leave it at that. And I'm kind of surprised that I'm able to play this game while I'm talking at the same time. Ah, dang it. 766 points, and I'm down to 2 pads. So, yeah, I think that's going to do it for this one. I'll put it back together for the time being since I don't have any capacitors. I do not want to leave this stuff like just laying around. And I can see why they left the screws up in this portion of the case kind of loose. If we tighten them all the way down, the pressure that this bottom plate puts on the board makes it so that the cartridge slot pretty much almost makes contact with this portion of the shielding. You can see right there when I squish it down. So that makes it very difficult to get a cartridge into the slot, and it's like really, really tight. If it is loose, then it's definitely much easier to stick a cartridge in than it would be otherwise. So I don't really see any way to work around that. I did try making sure that the 2 screws that held the board in place inside of the case, that I pulled the board as much as I could in that direction before I tightened them down. But that only seems to help so much. Once you tighten these 2 other screws down, then the board gets really pushed up against the case. But as long as they're making somewhat like snug contact, not totally loose, but not too like completely bottomed out, I think it should be fine. Okay, at this point, I've got it all put back together. I even used some contact cleaner on all of the switches, including the channel select switch that's inside. And so I think this thing should be fairly reliable for some time. Like I said, the only thing that kind of concerns me maybe a bit is the electrolytics, but I don't have any on hand. So I'll just throw some in into my order next time I order a bunch of stuff from DigiKey. And so that's going to pretty much do it for this video. So if you're just here for more of like just the technical stuff, that's where this pretty much ends. But I thought we'd end the video a little bit different this time than usual. And we do a little bit of gameplay. So let's connect everything back up. So I need the RF connection. And there we go. I got power. Let's play a few rounds of Kaboom. And I need to do something better about that power connection. But there we go. Let's see. Let's make sure that we are actually capturing something. And yeah, it's coming up. So not only did I want to maybe like play a few rounds of this game, but let's do it slightly different. We'll do it streamer style. So, oh, by the way, and if you're kind of wondering like how I'm even capturing like RF out of this the 2600, I'm using one of these. This is an AverMedia M780, and it's got various inputs. It's got like a TV input, which supports analog like RF capture. It's also got ATSC. It does S-video as well as composite on this set of connections. And it also has another internal connection that also does S-video and composite. And this card works pretty well with Windows 10, which is what I'm using on this system that I use to record all these videos on. And I have 2 of these. One's the one that's currently in use. This is an extra one I've got that I eventually want to put to use, but I can't fit it into the case that it's in. I'm out of slots. But there's something I want to try to do to see if I can get around to being able to use multiple cards. So, yeah, that's how that works. I'm I don't know if I'm the first person on here to ever capture gameplay from an RF source directly to a PC instead of recording it directly from the front of a CRT, or going through some other means. So yeah, this is a completely RF, and so let's go back to this view. And by the way, I'm watching the game through my 9-inch little Trinitron that's actually next to the PC that I'm recording on. And so there's a slight little bit of delay between when stuff happens on the TV and when it actually happens on the OBS capture. So if you see me react to something like a split second before it actually happens, that's why. I promise I'm not like cheating or anything or pretending to play. This is it's all real. So here we go. Let's reset that. And yeah, I got the right controller. And I'm not playing with those tiny tiny little pads. I ain't that masochistic when it comes to Kaboom. So let's go bigger. And there we go. So let's line these up, get those just right. All right, here we go. Let's see how far I can get. All right, doing good so far, but I mean, that's like the easiest level. So speeding things up a bit and a little more dense on the berms. Things are going to start to get a little more intense slowly. All right. Not too crazy just yet. Cool. Doing good so far. No! Come on. I let that one get through. All right, no more. I need to get that to 1,000 so that I can get another extra pad back. Come on. Shoot. All right, so I'm going to get an extra pad back most likely, but I'm only going to have 2. No. All right, I lost this round. 909. Not too bad. Not good either, but, All right, let's do this again. After like doing a few rounds of like when the stuff's falling really fast, everything else just seems like so slow. I used to play the crap out of this game when I was a kid also, and I used to play this game with my grandma on my dad's side of the family, like in the mid to possibly slightly late 90s when my parents were still together. I haven't really played much of this game much since then, except like when I tried it on the 2600 Plus. But like I was saying, there seems to be a bit of a latency between when you rotate the controller and when stuff actually moves on the screen. So that makes the game a little bit more difficult to play. And it's really not enjoyable. It's kind of frustrating. So this is definitely a lot more responsive playing directly on a TV. That has like no, or at least not much input delay, and I'm starting to lose my concentration here, so maybe I should stop talking. No, let that bomb through. And I'm way too far away to get a second one. I'd have to get 2,000 points to get another pad back. No, lost that one. All right, 1423. Let's just do a couple more rounds. I'm going to try to at least hit 2,000. No! I'm barely at 80. Come on. I like the little flame effect that's on the fuses when they're dropping. I don't know why, I just think it's kind of neat. No! Oh, one other quick thing that I forgot to mention about this card is that I'm capturing it directly on OBS, and OBS it basically defaults to capturing on channel 3 when you're capturing on a card like this, which is just happens to be perfect because it's a lot of devices that output RF are going to be on either like channel 2 or channel 3 or 4, and 3 is pretty much like right in the middle. So it works out. There's like no way that I've found to change channels as to what it's capturing. If I do want to be able to change the channel that I want to capture from, then I can use VLC, and VLC actually works perfectly with it as well. So that's another option if I need something that a kid like needs to capture on like a totally different channel other than 3. So some other times I might be using that to capture video. All right, let's do what did I say? A couple more rounds. So last round, let's see how far we get. No, almost lost that one. Sorry, guys, I'm concentrating. Oh, no! I have the volume down on the TV just so I don't get, like, basically repetitive audio. I think there's something about being able to hear every time you get, like, that, like, when you hit one of the dropping bombs. That kind of helps you, lost that one. Sorry, it's hard to think and move this thing at the same time. Like listening to that sound of the bomb hitting the platform, I think kind of helps you position yourself. Or maybe it's just me, I don't know. But I feel like it helps. And having the volume all the way down, I seem to be doing worse than I would normally be doing otherwise. Because I've played this a few times since I fixed this thing, or since I hooked this up, and I was able to do better. So yeah, we'll just leave it there for now. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys around the bench.